Co-ops have a long history. Here's a quick rundown on how the cooperative movement began and how the BSC was born. It all started back in England when a group of weavers, the Fenwick weavers, realized they could save money by combining their resources and buying in bulk. Co-ops started springing up all across the world. The Berkeley Co-op started during the Depression in 1933, a time when many students were struggling to afford an education. We've been around for decades now and have grown larger and more connected. We're an organization with a significant history. You're inheriting a long legacy, and it's your turn now, as a new BSC member, to take care of the co-ops for the next generation. College can be expensive between tuition, books, and other costs. The co-ops offer affordable housing, where you can save money through cooperative living, which includes buying in bulk and sharing chores. We all do our part in keeping our homes running smoothly. Members dedicate their time to cleaning, cooking, gardening, recycling, and more to keep things running. Not paying other people to do basic cleaning and cooking is a big part of how we keep our rent down. With each hour that you contribute, you are helping to keep your house or apartment a good place to live. As a member of this organization, you have the power to make decisions. Your vote counts, so take advantage of the opportunities you have to make changes that benefit your house or apartment and its members. Beyond the low costs and cooperative structure, the co-ops can offer you an incredibly enriching social life. As a member of the BSC, you'll have an amazing opportunity to build a network of friends and have memorable experiences along the
way. Hey new members, my name is Kevin. I'm the BSC president for the fall 2016 to spring 2017 academic year. I live in Castro, and my gender pronouns are he, him, and his.
And my name is Dash. I live at Fenwick, and I'm the Vice President of Internal Affairs, and I also go by he, him, and his. So we're here today to explain a little bit about the structure of the BSC. So the first part of the BSC that you're going to have the most contact with is at the unit level.
Yeah, and the unit level has a thing called council, which is held every week or every other week. And this is an important part of our governance structure, is because as a member you make low-level decisions that affect your unit, like how much money you're going to spend from your house account, food budget. You also get to elect the people who get to run your house, the manager team, and you get to create and develop policies that affect your unit, such as a guest policy, dish and rack policy, media fee policy. Yeah.
The central level is made up of professional staff who we, the co-op, hire to administer to the day-to-day operations and coordinate between all 20 units of the BSC. So these are the people who keep track of your housing and make sure that you know where to live every semester, where you can live. Keep track of all of our finances and our accounting so that we know how much money we have and don't get audited by the IRS. We deliver food to the houses, and really are the backbone of making the entire organization work. And so sometimes it seems like there's this separation between the central office and what happens at the units, but really they're connected by the board of directors.
The board of directors, yeah, they're a 26-person body, and it's not lawyers and doctors on the board. They're actually students, and these students get elected by all of our units. So each unit elects up to 2 members of the House who sit in the board of directors, and what the board of directors does is they're legally responsible to make the best decisions for the best interest of the organization.
The way to think about the decisions that the board makes versus what you do at council is that at your unit, for example, if you live in a house, you will elect a kitchen manager, and you and your kitchen manager together will decide what types of food to buy, how much of, each type, and things, decide what dinner at your unit is going to look like. At the board level, they're thinking about all 17 houses and what the entire food budget is going to be for the entire co-op, and how to balance higher rates, which might buy nicer food, and where to prioritize each of those. The board makes decisions in subcommittees, which are divided by the different aspects of the BSC's operations. So there's a subcommittee for staffing and operations, there's a subcommittee for all of our finances, there's a subcommittee for the member experience and things that touch you and how your experience in the BSC, and then there's also a subcommittee for the BSC's relationships with external organizations like the University of California and the media and things like that. And then all of these committees are coordinated by the cabinet, which Kevin chairs.
So the cabinet is comprised of me, the president, and 4 VPs and 2 non-executive cabinet members. And we pretty much ensure that the strategic plan of the organization is being followed, and we coordinate and we develop all the work for the entire year. So yeah, we basically do all the high-level work and pretty much stitch everything together.
So this is kind of a rough sketch of how the BSC is structured, and really you can and should get involved at every level, whether that's running for a manager position or even just coming to committee and board meetings. Member participation is what makes us a co-op. So I really encourage you to come and have your voice heard at these meetings, and I look forward to seeing you there.
As soon as you sign your contract, you'll become a full member of the Berkeley Student Cooperative. Being a member of the co-ops is a lot like being a citizen of a country. You have 5 basic rights and privileges that no one can take away from you. Number 1, the right to attend all meetings. The co-ops are democratically run, and students like you make all the decisions. With only a few exceptions, you're allowed to go to any meeting in the co-ops, whether it's your house or apartment's council, board, or even one of the central level committees. Number 2, the right to cast 1 vote at your house or apartment's meetings or any central level meetings. As a member of the BSC, you are a partial owner of the organization, and you have a vote almost anywhere you go. Number 3, the right to speak at all meetings. The co-ops thrive on discussion. You have a valuable perspective that we want to hear, and if you're not sure what's going on, just ask. Your ideas may be more valuable than you think. Number 4, the right to make and second resolutions, motions, or approvals at meetings. You're not only allowed to vote, you can also suggest what everyone else votes on. If you think we should do something, don't keep it a secret. Just say it. That's called making a motion, and if someone else agrees by seconding the motion, then everyone will vote on your idea. Number 5, the right to reside at or use the facilities of the corporation to which the member has been assigned. The other rights are all about meetings and voting, but this one is about just living. This says that once you're moved into your house or apartment, called a unit in central level speak, you can do whatever you want there within the rules set by your house. These are your rights as a member, so enjoy them. They're yours as long as you're here.
As a member of the co-ops, you have 5 basic responsibilities in addition to your rights. The co-op's long-term success depends on everyone doing their best to meet these responsibilities. The first one is to pay all your bills on time. Rent is divided into installments, and our bookkeeping staff is good about keeping people informed about payment deadlines. If you need a special arrangement, we're happy to work with you to meet your needs. The second is to do all your work shift as faithfully and efficiently as possible. A big part of what makes cooperatives cheap is that we give so much of our own labor to keep things going. Work shifts are important. Aside from the staff at central office, we rely almost entirely on each other to keep the co-ops going. Your work shift is your piece of the puzzle. By giving a few hours a week, you get much more back in the long run. People in the houses owe 5 hours a week, but you can get a reduction to 3 hours if you have a disability. People in apartments owe much less, only 8 hours a semester. The third is to follow the rules of the BSC and of your house or apartment, and to maintain and promote fairness and cooperation essential to congenial, comfortable, and studious living conditions. Co-ops promote a free space for all its members by allowing people to set their own rules and create their own living environment. In return, it's important that you respect the rules and to change them democratically if you don't like them. It's also essential that you work to create a safe space for your fellow housemates. Remember that you owe your fellow co-opers the respect and cooperation that is essential for the house to run in a safe and fair manner. The fourth is to respect your neighbors and not to do anything that would make the BSC look bad in the eyes of the community at large. Being an active member of a co-op also makes you a representative of the co-ops as a whole. Try to represent the co-ops with pride not only inside your house, but also outside the world. The fifth is to keep your room in good condition. You have a lot of freedom to customize your room, way more than a dorm or apartment. But remember that someone lived there before you and that someone will live there after you, so take care of it. Also, no one wants to live with a super messy roommate.
Hey co-opers! In the housing department we can answer any of your housing related questions. If you want to transfer houses, have something about your housing contract you don't understand, or have friends who want to come live or eat in the co-ops, we can tell them how to get involved as well. I'll see you here!
Welcome new co-opers. My name's Michelle and I'm the Accounts Receivables Bookkeeper. A large part of my job includes monitoring student accounts to ensure you're making your payments on time and not falling behind on rent. Payment due dates for each semester can be found on the BSC website under the Housing section. You can log on to the BSC member portal to view your charges for the current term and make a payment. We currently accept credit card and electronic check payments through the portal and cash payments in central office in person. If you're paying with a credit card, there will be a $10 convenience fee automatically applied to all credit card payments. If you're paying with electronic check, there's no convenience fee and you'll need to know your bank's routing and account number in order to make the payment. If you're unable to make a payment in order to avoid late fees, you'll need to file a payment arrangement. This is also done through the member portal. We do apply late fees to your account if you don't make a payment or request a payment arrangement on time, so please be sure to check payment due dates. Throughout the semester, I will communicate with you about your account via email. It's very important that you check your email address on the portal and make sure we have the correct address on file. I'd also suggest adding my email address, michelle@bsc.coop, to your email contacts to ensure you receive all correspondence to your inbox. If you have any questions about your account, how to set up a payment arrangement, or problems with making a payment, please feel free to contact me and I'll be happy to help you. Have a great semester.
There will be a few students living with you who have extra responsibilities. These are the managers, sometimes known as coordinators. Managers are people that you elect to do specialized tasks that go above and beyond regular work shift and are important to keep the house organized. Strong and accountable managers are the key to making a house great. Here are the main kinds of managers you'll see in a co-op house. The apartments have a much smaller set of managers. The house manager will move you in, assign you a room, and give you keys. The house manager serves as a liaison with neighbors and is the person to go to for help with complaints, concerns, or conflicts. In some houses, they also keep track of house finances and the house checking account. Others have a separate finance manager. The house president runs council meetings in a democratic and efficient manner. They preside over elections, oversee other managers, and mediate conflicts. They also try to foster a cohesive house culture, making sure the house is functioning as a community. The work shift manager will give you a work shift, teach you how to do it, and check to make sure you've actually done it. They divide up the work to make sure that the house is kept clean and that all the chores will get done. The board member, also known as the board rep, is the delegate from your house or apartment to our co-op's Central Board of Directors. This person sits and votes on board, works in committees to develop new policies and programs, and helps run things at the organizational level. They are your link to the central level, and they rely on you to help shape their opinions on issues. The kitchen manager orders food and supplies, trains cooks, keeps the kitchen in working order, and enforces proper sanitation. Some houses have a separate food manager for ordering food, and a kitchen manager who orders house supplies like paper towels, cleaning supplies, and cooking equipment. The maintenance manager handles minor repairs, works with central maintenance on larger repairs, and assigns house improvement hours. Many co-ops have extra minor managers, like a network manager who handles the internet, a health worker who helps keep the house healthy and educated about health issues, a waste and energy reduction manager, or WORM, who helps the house be environmentally friendly, a social manager who organizes social events, and sometimes even more. There are a couple of main ways you can help your managers know what they're doing well and what they could be doing better. The easiest is to talk to them in person and tell them either what they're doing great or how they could be doing better. Good managers are important to making a co-op work well, but it's important to remember that in a cooperative, managers aren't just there to tell you what to do. They're there to help organize everyone to work together.
My name is Jackie. I am the operations assistant here at the BSC. I come around to the co-ops up to 3 times a semester to conduct habitability inspections. We do these inspections to ensure the overall cleanliness and safety of the co-ops. So what can you do to help with habitability? For one, you can complete your work shift as it's scheduled by your work shift manager. Not completing your work shift can result in penalties such as a $13 per hour fine. There are multiple fining periods at each house where you'll be fined for those down hours. And you can also be offered a conditional contract for reaching down 15 hours by CO, central office, and you will lose your seniority point for that semester. Failing to comply with the conditional contract can lead to membership termination with the BSC, so it's best to avoid that. Other things you can do, report any habitability violations to managers, unit level managers at your house, and look out for different things around the house. If you see food stored on the ground, put it on a shelf. If there's anything in the hallway, remove it. So the reports will have grades of A through F. Passing would be A, B, or C. Failing is a D or an F. Failing grades result in a $26 fine per member, so you're fined at the work shift rate of $13 an hour, and you're fined for 2 hours. So we want to avoid that, and D's and F's will also result in a reinspection. Ways you can work off the habitability fine is through paid work shifts. You're definitely going to want to talk to your work shift manager about some opportunities to do that. And I'll give you some examples of automatic fails. Things like anything on the fire escape, any items stored in the hallways, stairways, any trip and slip hazards, anything hung from or blocking fire sprinkler pipes or heads. So for more information, you can contact me. My email is Jackie, Jacki, at bsc.coop, or you can talk to any of your unit level managers and ask them for a copy of the habitability rubric and standards.
Most times, living in Berkeley is great, with our serenely beautiful meadows, waters, and forests. But don't forget that emergencies sneak up in the most unsuspecting of times. Even here, we need to be prepared for the unexpected. So what can you do to prepare for these situations? What kinds of supplies does the BSC have available to prepare you for them? In this short video, we'll answer your questions and teach you more about how you might prepare for these contingencies. Fortunately, there are some easy guidelines to follow to better prepare for disasters. So, on just some ordinary day in Berkeley land, an earthquake shakes you and everything around you. There are a specific set of practical rules you should follow to protect yourself and those around you. First, duck and cover, drop to the ground, and cover the back of your head. Make sure you are under sturdy furniture, next to interior walls, and away from windows. In doing so, you'll be safeguarded against careening and possibly unfriendly debris. Afterwards, once the initial shake is finished, exit the building as soon as possible and follow the emergency plan your house has formulated. If you're already outside, make sure you're far away from power lines, falling buildings, or bodies of water. Say the earth isn't rumbling, and instead the building is starting to feel a little smokier and warmer than usual. This could mean fire. To respond to a fire, immediately evacuate. Make sure you feel doors and then handles before opening. Shut any doors behind you, yell to your housemates, and grab the fire extinguishers on your way out to meet other house members at the pre-designated meeting area detailed in your house emergency plan. Remember that even if it just seems like a test, you must always leave the building in the event that a fire alarm sounds, or a substantial fine may be levied against you. Now you know what to do during disaster, but what about before? Little do you know, the BSC has all along been planning for disasters. Your house and your management team should be prepared with knowledge about the plans for evacuating and directing everyone in the house to safety. They will know the location of your house's emergency kit, fire hydrant, water barrels, and where the BSC-Y stores of food, first aid, and other emergency supplies are kept and will be distributed. As well, they have access to all members' emergency contact information, but only once you've shared it with them, which you need to do as soon as possible if you haven't already. If you feel uncertain about any of these items, or like to just learn more, talk with your house manager or any of your house-level major managers. Managers have been trained to respond to emergency situations and are familiar with the BSC-wide emergency plan in addition to house plans. Some are trained in fire suppression, search and rescue, and even disaster medical response. So, in the event of an emergency, trust them, follow the directions, and try to stay as calm as possible so that everyone may be able to follow the proper procedures and reach the designated meeting spot or other areas. Before any emergency arises, your manager will schedule a house drill, which you should take seriously in order to learn about proper evacuation procedures and the location of the outdoor meeting spot near your house. So, there is yet to be any emergency. Things seem fine and ordinary, so it may be tempting to think that this state of calm may remain forever. Take advantage of this opportunity to prepare yourself for predictably occurring and reoccurring disasters. You don't want nature to catch you off guard. As you can see, the BSC has a plan for preparation, but there are some simple, low-cost things only you can do to better prepare for disasters. First, members should have a grab-and-go bag ready, containing items such as emergency contact information, closed-toed shoes, a flashlight and batteries, some extra spending money, a water bottle. Remember, you need 1 gallon per day per person, some food, preferably energy bars or something with extra protein in it, and anything you know that you need on a regular basis, for example, medication and glasses. Prior to any disasters, members with special needs should also discuss with their managers how they may respond effectively to an emergency and the kind of assistance they may need. Knowing which loved ones to contact and how to contact them in the case of an emergency is important too. On top of the emergency contact information that your managers should have already gathered, you should designate an out-of-area emergency contact person or team, someone you know you can rely on, who will not be affected by the disaster in your area, and whose phone number you can easily remember. They will be the best point person for assuring others that you are safe and sound. In emergencies, it is also difficult to call locally, so have that out-of-town contact person ready. So you're learning a lot about how you and your house can be prepared. But what about the Berkeley Student Cooperative? Well, the BSC has a plan too. We'll just share the basics with you so that you know what to expect in the event of an emergency, but not to overwhelm you with all the exciting details. If you want more information, discuss it with your house manager or the member resource supervisor. So now you know the BSC has a plan. In an emergency, you'll immediately follow the plan laid out by your house managers. If it's a local, house-level emergency, you're fine. But if it's worse, then you'll want to follow these steps with fellow co-opers. There are 3 major post-disaster meeting locations near the 3 main clusters of co-ops. One is here, near Ridge, where all Northside co-opers should gather. A city emergency cache, water barrels, and food caches are all nearby and will be distributed by your designated emergency officer. The Northside Co-op's emergency officer will be a Cloyne facilities manager. If you live near the stadium and the Greek community, your meeting place is Oscar Wilde House, where the same supplies will be available, and the operations manager will be there to field any concerns and distribute supplies accordingly. Lastly, if you live at Rochdale or Fenwick Apartments or nearby them, your meeting place is Rochdale, where water barrels, e-kits, and an e-cache are accessible. The executive director will be there to manage the situation, supported by the Rochdale facilities manager. When an emergency happens, it'll be tempting to panic and forget all of what we're telling you now. But try to remain calm so that once you've reached these command posts, the respective emergency officers will be able to effectively and efficiently distribute supplies to all involved. We're in this together, and it's up to us to maintain our composure in times of duress. If not, our disaster will quickly turn into something much worse: chaos.